Giant fans that have supported us for more than 30 years at Giant Stadium, for all those years in Yankee Stadium, and some of you even back to the Polo Grounds. This is for you. This is for you.
Listen to me. Okay? The rest of your life, man, nobody can ever tell you that you couldn't do it, because you did.
With the second pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Saquon Barkley, running back, Penn State.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Giants Guys. This is John Fennelly, and with me today is from Everything NYG. It's Rob Naus. Rob, how are you?
I'm good, man. How's it going?
Very good. We haven't talked in a while. Actually, it's not going very well for Giant fans, but
No.
everything else is fine. But we didn't expect it was going to go very well, did we?
No. I mean, we talked about it before the year, and I think we hit some points that came back to haunt us in the worst ways.
So you were a big proponent of putting Daniel Jones out on the field. And
Right.
Now that he's out on the field, what's your impression of it?
I mean, I still stand by, 100% everything I said. Everyone likes to jump, and it's been frustrating me. The fumble problems, I'll admit that's an issue. You know what I mean? That's a big problem. But as a whole, I mean, the fact of how he's played, even with the turnovers, we're still putting up points. And you have to look at Eli Manning, and this is a point I made the other day. Eli Manning was making these mistakes. He was throwing the 3 picks a game. He was fumbling, and we weren't putting up points.
Right.
I mean, at least with Daniel Jones, we're still putting up points. We're still competitive in games. That Patriots game, the score looked a lot worse than what it actually was. It got out of hand. I think even with Daniel Jones running the ball on the third downs, I think we're better on third downs. So I see a lot of good in him, and I like him a lot. And I think he's a rookie quarterback. And I think that the fumbling issue is something that I'd rather have a rookie that fumbles, than just straight up can't handle the pressure. So I take it with a grain of salt.
Right, and that's something that they can resolve. I think that he's hanging on to the football a little bit too long on certain plays. And, he's trying to make something happen on the field. That's why he's doing that.
Right.
And one of the reasons why he's probably getting sacked more often than he should is because he's holding on to the football too long. And the line isn't used to blocking for that long. With Eli had the ball out of his hands 3 seconds or less.
Right.
So these guys are trying to block for 4 or 5 seconds. They're not built for that. I think they're getting an unfair grade, especially by me. I wrote a very scathing article about it. I don't think they're that good of a line to begin with. I don't think the Giants have solved their offensive line problems at all.
I read that. I saw that today. Yeah, I checked that out today.
Well, they have 2 good guards. Okay, we can't complain about Zeitler or Hernandez because they're 2 very good guards. But the tackles have been like pinwheels. And Jalapeno is having a terrible year at center. He has not played well at all.
I agree.
From his physical blocking to calling the blocking schemes or whatever, that's his job at center, to call the coverages. And he's just not doing a good enough job. So I called for them to yank him out of the lineup and try Spencer Pulley for a couple of games.
I agree with that. I mean, why not? Especially at 2-5. You know what I mean? Why not?
Yeah, because last year when Jalapeno got hurt, they tried Greco at center, and then eventually they went to Pulley, and the line seemed to come together with him and Jamon Brown, if you remember, playing together. They had a little semblance of order in the middle of the line.
Yeah, no, when Jamon Brown, obviously, you know what I mean? The thing with – it's another grain of salt thing. I mean, the line was so bad that we saw a glimmer of hope, and we were like, oh my God, it's a Hall of Fame line just based off what we're used to seeing. But you know what I mean? I think I agree. I think Jalapeno. I mean, you know, if we go back and look at the shows that we did, man. I mean, I know Jalapeno is one of the guys both of us were really excited for, and it's a letdown and a half with him.
Yeah, he came back. He was semi-healthy, and when he got to camp, he was completely healthy. But he doesn't seem to be the same player he was before he got hurt.
Yeah, he's playing hesitant, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what it looks like too. But, you know, going into the draft next year, they really have to think hard. I mean, it's going to be a quarterback-rich draft. They're going to have a high pick. They're going to be drafted in the top 10. I don't see them winning more than 6 games again.
No, me neither. I think that was my prediction when you asked me. I think I said 6 wins at best. I don't remember.
Yeah. So 6 wins if they get to that. You know, they could get more. Who knows? You know, they could turn things around real fast here. But the way things are looking, you're looking at a 6-win season. You know.
Right. Oh yeah, of course.
So
we're used to it.
Yeah. So in a quarterback-heavy draft, there's going to be teams looking to probably trade into the top 10. So the way I was looking at it, I was like, maybe they could trade down and get themselves some more early round picks, and they can build that offensive line.
Yeah, and the DBs. I think the DBs is something that needs to be heavily addressed. And I mean, Jenkins, I still don't know. I mean, I said it. We both said it. Neither of us like Jenkins. I don't know why he's still here. I don't. I have no idea. He gets turntabled every week by every number one, even number 2s. He's horrible. Grant Haley, another guy, horrible this year. Julian Love, I don't know where he's at. I loved him out of the draft. I don't know where he's at. Sam Beal, in my opinion, I hate to say it, he's a bust.
Right.
There's nothing there at corner. I mean, they're really. I was so excited for Grant Haley, so excited for Julian Love, and it's bad. I think. I mean, I don't know if you disagree, but in my opinion, the DBs are more of a problem than the O-line. That's just my opinion.
Well, the plan at DB, I think. Well, Beal is eligible to return. They definitely want to get him out on the field. So
how long will he last, though? That's the problem.
Well, that's a big question. We'll see. So they have a week to trade Jenkins, and if they get a good offer, they will. If they don't get a good enough offer, they may just keep him. I don't really see the value in keeping him. You know, if you're rebuilding, you know, why keep an expensive veteran on your roster?
Eli. ...
Yeah, you're already doing that with Eli, right?
Yeah.
But Julian Love has got to get on the field. You're right about that. And Corey Ballantyne has to get on the field.
Corey Ballantyne, that was the other one I meant to say.
Yeah, so those guys, they're all rookies, though. That's the issue. They're all rookies. And we saw last week against Arizona, they went with 6 DBs on a lot of formations. So there's going to be opportunities for these guys to play. You know,
yeah, I mean, at least DeAndre Baker has improved, in my opinion. He's looked better.
Right. When you don't hear his name during the game, you know he's doing his job.
Exactly. That's what I tweeted the other day. I was like, somebody asked me, they were like, what do you think of DeAndre Baker? And I was like, well, I've heard his name a lot less, so I'm going to say he's got better. But then he made a great play against Arizona on that deep route. I don't remember who the receiver was, but it was textbook. He played great on that go route.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, you know, but they really have to get into a more of an attack mode on defense. They're still playing way too far off the line, if you ask me.
Yeah, Betcher is he's horrible. Betcher, his scheme sucks. He's just a bad coach. Like I don't know how you feel about that, but he needs to go now. He's a bad coach. His scheme sucks. It's horrible for the players we have, and I think really for any. I mean, look at Arizona. Did he do well with them? No. Is he doing well with us? No.
Well,
I think
his Arizona team statistically were pretty good.
Yeah, statistically, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, they also got 40 points a game put on them all the time. So,
I don't like his scheme. I think they have some players out on that need to play a lot more. Unfortunately, Ryan Connolly got hurt.
That was my guy, man.
O'Shane Jimenez has to play. He did play almost half the snaps, or maybe more than half the snaps the other day against Arizona, but I don't think he's being utilized properly. He's not making plays. Their front
Neither
seven
is
are not making plays. Their front six.
no, neither is Lorenzo Carter. The only one right now is Marcus Golden. He's been good. I think he's been really good for what
Yes.
he's worth and what we're paying him.
Yes.
But as a whole, I mean, I remember, we talked about it. I think your guy going into the year, we named two, whatever sleepers going into the year. I remember the episode. And your guys, I think, were Tay Davis. I don't remember who the other one. And I really liked Ryan Conley.
Right.
And then I said my breakout player would be Lorenzo Carter. Lorenzo has been a bust this year. He's been horrible. But like I said, I think it's the same thing that I was saying earlier in the year. We both were saying, I think it's scheme, man. I think Lorenzo is such a damn good player. But I think that the scheme just won't allow him to be good. Same thing with O'Shane. They're not in a situation where they can be good, in my opinion. And it gets to the point where you feel like you're wasting them already. Same thing with Barkley. Like, you start to feel like you're wasting these players.
To me, there doesn't seem to be a lot of consistency on defense. They keep shifting things around, so guys can't get a lot of traction. I know he does that to try to confuse the offense and keep them off balance, but it seems to be keeping the Giants off balance more than the opponent.
That's what I was about to say. It seems like he's confusing himself more than he's confusing the opponent. Because, I mean, the only good thing I saw out of a defensive shift, and it wasn't even defensive, was that special teams play where Dexter Lawrence shifted and they jumped for that kickoff, for that field goal.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not even defense. That's not even Betcher. So
right.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's disappointing. I mean, I was at that Tampa game, and that was, the videos I posted and stuff, that was the best Giants experience I've ever witnessed in my life. Like, that was incredible.
That was a fun game. Yeah, that's the last time they had any fun.
Yeah, and I mean, to be at that game was unbelievable. We really, I think we got bamboozled. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things. It was what I've, you know how I feel about Eli Manning. I know you do. And I always said good quarterback play can outweigh bad defensive play. And we saw that, and then we saw it the week after. And then it went to shit, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened to Daniel Jones. I don't. I really don't.
He ran into a couple of good defenses, to be fair. And
but Tampa, though,
the Giants just couldn't block.
Tampa's defense is real good, and I felt like he played, I mean, almost a perfect game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. I mean, the New England defense, they're, in my opinion, already, I think a lot of people agree they're already top 5 all time. And I say that.
They're headed that way, yeah. They're trending. They're trending to put up some big numbers there.
Yeah, that defense is unbelievable.
They played some crappy teams, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the Minnesota defense, I feel like we should have played a lot better. The Cowboys defense, that was with Eli Manning. But just my point is, I feel like we're not – same thing on defense. We're not utilizing what we have.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks. Finally getting Golden Tate back. I remember, I don't think – it's been a while since we talked, but I don't think you liked that signing very much. Did you? I don't remember. Money-wise. I don't think you liked it.
To sign a 30 or 31-year-old guy to a 4-year deal.
Yeah. I think money-wise it was horrible, but I think production-wise he's doing exactly what I hoped he'd do. But it's just another concern of exactly that. He's 31, and we signed a lot of guys that we are win now. There are all these older players. Michael Thomas is horrible. I don't know why he's a thing.
Well, he's a special teams guy, basically. He shouldn't really be playing a lot of defense, although he's made a couple of big plays on defense. I mean, to be fair.
Yeah, he made that big play against Tampa where he stopped that first down with Cameron Brate. But other than that, as a whole, I mean, okay, if he's there for defense, let him be there for defense. He's a defensive captain. Why the hell is he our starting free safety? Oh, man, it's bad. Like, we need Grant Delpit, in my opinion. But,
yeah,
I mean, it's bad, man. Real bad.
So the play calling the other day in the fourth quarter was very, very suspect. And it just illustrated to me that Pat Shurmur is not a very good in-game coach. There was 2 things he did in that game. He challenged a pass interference that was clearly not going to be overturned. It was against Janoris Jenkins, who was actually running away from the receiver.
Yeah.
And even when they looked at it, there was a little contact, and they're going to go with the flag. Okay? Unless it's like a game-changing situation and it's completely blatant, they're not going to change the call on the field. I think the referees are having issues with their competence being challenged by this rule. So what they're
Yeah.
going to do is they're going to stick to the ruling on the field as much as they can.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree. It's a pride thing.
yeah,
I agree with that. But
when you challenge it, you know you're going to lose. He did it anyway. And then in the fourth quarter, the 3rd and 18 play, which he justified by saying, Saquon took that for 50 yards or whatever at one point. But, you've got to make the first two guys miss, and he didn't make the first two guys miss. He got tackled after 3 yards.
He answers questions. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, and I'm not ready to scapegoat him. I'm not ready to throw him out. But I don't know. I think the thing, maybe it's just the younger fan in me. Baker has shut up a lot of people this year in the wrong ways. But I am a more modern guy. I like the quarterbacks that scream, that get in your face, that will be loud. And I want the same thing with coaches. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's not the Giants' way. But for some teams it works. Bill Belichick. For the Giants, it seems like they want to bring in a lot of these guys like Jabril Peppers and whoever else that are really I don't know how to explain it. Really modern players. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. Barkley, guys like that. But they don't have modern coaches. They don't have modern owners. They have these coaches that, Shermer always looks like he's half asleep and really like he just lost his teddy bear all the time. And Betcher just looks like he's confused and doesn't know what's going on. And he's like fake mad and he always looks like a tomato. Like, I feel like they don't mold well with the players we have. And I think that goes into the scheme. And I think that goes into the energy and that goes into the vibe. And like, I'm just a big believer in that. I believe in, you have to have guys of equal mindset to want to win for each other. And I just don't think these guys want to win for Shermer. I really don't.
I think there's two things that I see. Okay, one is I think during the week they've prepared very well. And once the game starts, the coaches don't manage the sidelines very well. They don't manage the game very well.
Yeah, their game script is never on point.
Yeah, so what happens once the game starts, they kind of lose their place.
Yeah.
And they make bad decisions or no decisions or whatever. And you see that the adjustments are slow coming, if they come at all. And then the other part is after the game, the acceptance of losing is coming too easy now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like they want to win for him, and then I don't think they care if they lose for him either, because it's like he's gonna react the same way. That's what I was saying. Like,
yes.
He has no like charisma, man. Like, look at my best example I can give is Cliff Kingsbury, right? They started out, what was it? I think they were 0-2-1, right?
They tied their first game and then they lost two, and now they've won a couple in a row.
They're
won 3-1.
Three in a row.
Right.
So they're 3-3-1. Well, look at what happened with Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. Kyler wants to win for Cliff, and Cliff wants to win for Kyler, and it's like they're both young-minded. And I'm not saying the league has to be young. I'm just saying modern for what it is.
Well, you saw against the Jets a 42-year-old quarterback who's probably got the most drive of any player in this league.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not. I guess what I'm saying is I can't even say it's just age. It's more of a mindset to me, and it's like to me we have a really weird mix of guys that really want to be fired up and win, and then guys that don't. Like, look at Jabril Peppers at the beginning of the year, how fired up this guy was. I mean, before every game, I haven't seen anything from him now in the last 2 weeks. I haven't seen him celebrating. I haven't seen him doing his thing on the sidelines. I was at one of the games. He was great in Tampa. And then nothing, because it's like, I really don't think they care if they win or lose, because unfortunately the Giants' way over the last, six years is to lose. And if we win, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, cool. We won.
Can you believe that we won? Yeah.
Yeah. But if we lose, it's like, all right, off to next week. That's fine. Like,
do you think that because they know they're in rebuilding mode now, because they went to Daniel Jones, that it's okay to lose? That they know they're going to lose some games, and so it's okay?
In my opinion, it's never okay to lose. But, to them, yeah, probably. Because I view Gettleman as a guy that when he took this job, he knew what he was taking on, and he knew it was going to be a multiple-year thing. And I think you'll see him a lot. Even when they started Daniel Jones, he didn't show his face. He didn't say a word, but that was his guy.
Right.
Because I think he didn't want to come out and be like, we're going to win now. Like, I believe we're going to win now. This is our guy. Like, he knows that he needs to build through the draft. And as much as I disagree with how many picks the dude gets in the 6th round, like we have like 5 5th-round picks, like 4 6th, something insane. I'd rather trade those up, but that's me.
But he did very well with his 5th-round picks this year.
Yeah. So what I'm saying ultimately is, like, I think they do know that they're going to lose, and I don't think they're okay with it. I don't think they're happy with it, but I just don't think they care. Like, win, cool, celebrate. Lose, cool, off the next week.
There's no consequences for playing poorly.
Yeah, and like these guys will make big mistakes game after game after game after game. And I mean, we saw with Eli Manning for 14 years, except for a few of them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's like they put. I think loyalty is very important, and I always will. But I think they put the loyalty way too far ahead of what these players are actually doing on the field. You know what I mean? Like, look at Shaquille Barrett with the Bucks. You know what I mean? He bet on himself, and look what he's doing. You got to get guys like that are like, screw you. You counted me out. I'm going to come ball. And I think Ballantyne will do that. I think Julian Love will do that. I think O'Shane Zimenez will do that. I think they all will.
Golden has pretty much rewarded them.
Yeah.
He's probably the only one.
I agree. But do you see that my trend of what I'm saying? It's like, you get a guy that bets on himself on a 1-year deal, and look what happens. Then reward him. Like, then give him more PT. But stop putting these guys out there that just genuinely aren't doing anything on a losing team. Let's see what the guys we have for next year at this point. Take Jenkins out. If you can't trade him, bench him. I don't care. Put in Ballantyne.
Yeah,
like, who cares?
I wrote an article about who the Giants could possibly trade. Actually, it turns out who could the other teams in the league possibly want? Is more like it.
I mean, Jenkins, nobody's going to want him. I mean, in my opinion, believe it or not, somebody throws me a conditional 7th, I'm taking it. Call me stupid. I just want him gone. I want him off the books.
Right.
And I hate the way that he responds in the media. I just don't like the guy at all, and I don't like his play. I think anything is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would dump him for a 7th, a conditional 7th, like right now. No problem. I wouldn't look back.
Yeah, that would be the least you would get for him because, as the second half of the season, comes upon us, teams know they're going to have injuries.
Yeah, they're desperate.
And there's going to be somebody who's going to want to pay a 4th rounder for somebody like that.
Look at today. Mohamed Sanu for a 2nd-round pick.
Right.
Okay. So,
but that's a good pickup for New England because their 2nd-round pick is the last pick in the 2nd round. First, it's really a 3rd-round pick. And Sanu is a Rutgers guy who's going to slide right into that team.
Yeah. No, I think he's a hell of a player, but I mean, a 2nd-round pick for him at 30 years old was a little bit nuts. But
I think they're set up to get some compensatory 3rd-round picks again next year in the draft.
Yeah, he just plays chess. Belichick plays chess with the rest of the league. But ultimately, I don't know. I just think if there's one thing I could say about the Giants, it's this year and the recent years and, going forward, I think the biggest issue, if I could go in there tomorrow, say I had a day to take over this team, I would strip it down of literally all the vets that aren't doing anything for me. And strip it down.
Quite a number of those.
Quite a number. Because the problem is, they say all the time that it's a good locker room presence. Okay, how many of those do you need? I'd strip it down. Eli Manning, we talked about it. Both of us agreed. We said this even months before the draft. He shouldn't have been here if they were going to draft a quarterback. Sure enough, look what happened.
Right.
None of these guys should be here. Like, I would literally rather go to free agency, take a dive in free agency, sign an undrafted free agent, put him on the field if we're going to lose anyways, and be like, look, like, what do you got? Like, show us. Earn a spot. If you earn that spot, play like you're playing right now, and you'll keep that spot. You'll earn a contract. Yeah. Instead of keeping 32-year-old corners that don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
They did that with this kid, David Mayo.
Right.
And he's playing his heart out.
Hell yeah, because that's what you need. It's like you need these guys that come in there, and it's like Last Chance U. Like that show. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But it's like you got one chance. You blow it, you're gone. You're probably never going to get that chance again.
Yeah, there's zero tolerance. You can only make one mistake, right?
Yeah, but when you keep putting these guys, you see Ballantyne and Julian Love sitting on the sidelines and soon to be Sam Beal. They're looking in on Janoris Jenkins allowing 3 touchdowns to Mike Evans and a half. They're looking at Stephon Diggs absolutely demolishing him. Not Stephon Diggs, well, just both of them, honestly. They're looking at all these wide receivers that are just going in on him. And they're like, can I get a shot?
Yeah.
Like, what is the tolerance? Like, what if I do one play bad? Am I a rookie, so I'm going to get taken out? Or can I do that too? It's just a bad look, man. It's a bad look.
If you really want this team to – well, they started last year saying they wanted to rebuild and compete at the same time, and that was a mistake. Then they carried that over to this year.
Right.
And that's a mistake. Right. You're either going to rebuild or you're going to compete. You can't really do both. They fooled themselves into thinking they could. And that's why you have these smattering of veterans out there who are playing, they're already paid. But the problem is when you sign these big contracts, that money comes up front. Right. With the signing bonus and the guaranteed money. They know the money's in their pocket. So there's nothing left for them to earn except for their base salary.
Exactly. That's my point. And I'm not saying that we should have a roster full of undrafted free agents. I'm just saying, like, ultimately, you can't go wrong with a guy with a mission and a guy that wants to put food on his table for his family, doing what he loves for as long as he can. Instead of signing Mike Remmers, who don't give a shit. Like, hey, I'm here. Cool. I signed a contract. Like, let's go out there. Like, it's like, why though? Like, I'd rather have a bad line with guys fighting for a contract than have guys that are all paid. Or same thing with DBs. I think that's my point behind this whole thing. Like, same thing. Like, I don't think Saquon will ever be this, but is he only great? Like, you got to question, is he only great right now before he gets paid more? It's like, you don't know these days because the modern NFL, is not at all like it used to be. It's like, it's more, if I don't get paid or I don't get what I want, I'm demanding a trade. Like, I'm gone. Like, screw you. I don't care about you. I'll get my money somewhere else. So, like, it's so contagious now. Like, it's so contagious that it's like, look, dude, like, all you got to do is make a few good plays, go to a bad team or go to a great team and sit on the bench. You'll be good. Nobody, like, wants to fight, unless you get overlooked. True. Jake Carlock, David Mayo, like, these guys got overlooked. Nobody cared. Like, nobody wanted them.
Right.
And Hilliman's another one. All right, Hilliman sucked, bluntly. But, man, did he fight. And he did his freaking best. And, he might have fumbled a lot, but I respect the hell out of the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're all still with the team. They're with the practice squad. Carlock is in the practice squad. And,
exactly. But think about it. They got to play. They got a taste of it. They're only going to get better now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hope they do. I mean, they need players with some more passion.
Exactly.
And they also need some coaches with some more passion. I mean, look at Shermer, low energy. Betcher is a little high energy, but it's wasted energy. And
he doesn't know how to contain it at all.
Mike Shula is very low energy also.
Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier, man. It's mentalities.
I remember when I was your age, the Giants had a coach they brought in by the name of Ray Perkins. And he was before Parcells. He had actually hired Bill Parcells to be his defensive coordinator. And then Parcells hired Belichick under him. But Perkins was a strict disciplinarian. You did it or you were gone.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you need to do.
He had Sims in his first year. He was the coach. And when Sims played well, he stayed out on the field. As soon as Sims did not play well, he came off the field. Okay, he showed Phil Sims basically, if you're going to make these mistakes, you're coming out. And a lot of coaches say, no, let them learn through the mistakes. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Let them learn by making the mistakes, because they're saying, okay, I'm going to make the mistake, but then I'm going to come back and play and do the same thing again. Daniel Jones to me is making the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah, and it's inconsistency. Like we said, going back to the Eli Manning point. All right, he made the same mistake. Like I said, don't hate me. He made the same mistakes, and he's been average his whole career. I'm sorry, but you got to look at it like, okay, he made the same mistakes every week, but he was a veteran, so does that mean he gets a pass? Where's the consistency? Where's the consistency then? If you're going to be like that and say, okay, learn through the mistakes, play through the mistakes. Okay, well, does that vary if you're 22 or 34? Like, okay, Janoris Jenkins, you're 32. Play through the mistakes, okay? But Valentine makes a mistake and he never sees the field again. So
Yes.
I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It's like you got it or you don't. You want it or you don't. And in my opinion, none of these guys want it right now. Like, I love Daniel Jones. You know that. I liked him before the draft. People hated me for that. I hated Sam Darnold. Like, I'm very blunt with my opinions on quarterbacks. And right now, again, I love Daniel Jones. Even he's not showing me that he really wants it right now. Nobody is. Not even Barkley.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie to you. Not even. He didn't look like himself. Yes, he's coming off a high ankle. But to me, nobody on this team, and there was only one person, and that was Peppers. Nobody on this team is showing me that they want it, that they want to be here. Like, and I don't blame them. Like, do you wake up in the morning, you're like, shit, I'm a New York Giant. Hell yeah. Like, yeah, baby. Like, okay.
Where's
like,
the pride?
Historic franchise. Yeah, like, we have an historic franchise. Cool. But right now, teams would rather go to the Jags. I get they're doing good. It's just an example. I live in Florida. No income tax. Okay, should I go to the Giants, their historic franchise? Or should I just take my money and go to Florida? Because, I'm going to go to Florida. Like,
Yeah.
I would too. Like, it's just because there's no pride right now. Even the fans. I mean, we're fans at the end of the day. Do you have a lot of pride repping your Giants gear right now, or does it hurt a little bit? Because to me, it hurts a little bit.
I wear it every day. I wear something Giants usually every day. Either a sweatshirt, like a hoodie, or I wear my hat. And people say to me, "Oh boy, they stink." I'm like, "Yeah, well, you know what? They didn't always stink."
Exactly.
I have 4 Super Bowls in my back pocket that most fans don't have.
But that's all we got now. It's like 2011. Yeah. Well, 2011's kind of getting a little old now. It's starting to run out of time.
And now when I cover the games, Rob, I'm kind of sick of it. I'm writing the same thing every week, over and over again. Pat Shurmur, well, we have to play better. No kidding.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's like I don't do the job you do. We do very different, I guess, quote, jobs on my end. But it even gets old for me. I mean, I don't know. I post videos during the games a lot. I don't even get mad. I mean, I usually it's weird because it's like I remember just a few years
you've accepted the losing too.
Right. It's like literally I think the worst part about being a Giants fan, literally probably after 2012, kind of in my opinion, was the fact that like over time, I remember if the Giants lost a game, I would go to school the next morning mad as hell. Like, I was so mad. Like, I thought about it all day. Now it's like we lose, and I turn my TV off, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me check my fantasy lineup. Like, it's so shitty. Yep. Like, when we win, we celebrate, but then we know it's going to crash. Like, it's so shitty. Like, I feel bad for us.
So what is your if you were going to take over this team? Okay, I know Dave Gettleman is going to be the GM for a while. See, a lot of people don't understand. We haven't seen him. The man had cancer, okay?
Yeah.
And he was sick, and he came back for a while. We don't know if he's in remission again. We don't know if the cancer came back because nobody's saying anything. He's just not visible anymore. You don't even see him in the press box, as far as I could tell. I haven't seen him at all. So we don't know where he is. We know he's still working in this capacity that he's being hired as GM, but nobody knows what his health situation is. So he really can't be blamed a lot. If he can't do the job for 100%, is that his fault? No.
No, there's a lot of things, and I've even said it. I'll eat crow on Dave Gettleman, man. I mean, I gave him a lot of shit, and I was so mad about the Odell trade. I couldn't be any happier with that move. I think we should have got more, 100%. But the things that he's done, I disagreed with. And I remember he said, I can't quote it word for word, but I remember he said, "Hate me now, love me later," or something like that. And I by no means love him.
He's a hard guy to like.
Right. But I can't knock him on what's happening on the field because he's had 1 year. And in that 1 year, we got more successful picks in the 5th round, literally, than Jerry Reese did in the 1st round. for years. And, I mean, these guys that he drafted, I mean, we turned the Odell trade into, Dexter Lawrence, who's the highest graded defensive player in the rookie defensive player in the NFL right now.
Right.
We got Jabril Peppers, and then we also got O'Shane. And, I'm not mad at those three players.
And you're going to get a lot of cap relief over the next 4 seasons.
That too. And it's like, I take a step back and I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? I was really mad. I should have been, and I don't regret it. But if there was one thing he could have done, and I remember I said in my videos, I had that video that blew up. It had like 800,000 views of my rant.
Yeah, you're a superstar.
Yeah, that thing blew up, man. And I'll tell you, people still like that video today. And they come back at me when I tweet something about Odell. They're like, "Oh, old takes exposed." I'm like, "Well, yeah." And I'm happy it is. I'm happy that, Dave Gettleman proved me wrong. I wanted to be wrong, but I didn't think I would be.
Yeah,
But,
I always say that when you have a player like Beckham on a team that's failing, he's trade bait. You've got to cash him in.
Oh yeah.
And they did that, and right now it's working in their favor.
Yeah.
They're
And
still
Dave
not
Gettleman
winning,
knows it.
but they got some players to build on.
I will say, though, on an unrelated note, I mean, talking about Gettleman, for this, I mean, it sucks. We're Giants fans. Week 7, week 8, we're already talking about the offseason. I'm absolutely petrified for this offseason because I'm ready for heartbreak, because we're going to have the most cap space in the NFL, I believe, or number 2. And, man, we're going to sign vets. We're going to sign vets. We're going to miss out on the big names, and I'm going to be pissed. Because we'll have, I think Jadeveon Clowney is going to be, or did he ink a contract? No, he's going to be a free agent. He signed, he got traded, and he has 1 year on his deal.
He's with Seattle, tag. Yeah.
Yeah, and dude, give me him. Sign him. Give me him. We got the money for it, and more than enough, and that would be great. That's exactly what we need.
Yes.
But nah, man, we'll sign a 36-year-old defensive end that comes out of retirement. We'll sign Connor Barwin. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, oh, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for heartbreak.
Yeah, That's who you get in free agency, obviously. You're going to get veterans. I mean, you're not going to get younger players. You're going to get guys who are 26, 27, and older.
Right.
That's who you get in free agency. But the draft, I think what they have right now is they have 8 picks because they have 2 7th-rounders. They still have a 7th-rounder from the Saints for the
Eli
what do you call it? Eli Apple trade.
Apple.
And they should get a 3rd-round compensatory pick for Landon Collins.
Yeah, but we always get screwed in the comps, so maybe we won't. Who knows?
Yeah, they'll probably make it a 5th-round pick or something. Watch.
Oh yeah, we get screwed.
That's good. They usually do well in the 5th round. So.
No lie, literally, they do better in the Gettleman does. That is, in my opinion. I think Reese was just garbage, but name will not be mentioned.
Let me get a prediction from you on Pat Shurmur. What do you think his outlook is on this team if things continue the way they continue?
I think, I could give you a dream scenario and I'll give you a realistic one.
Go ahead.
Dream scenario, he gets fired at the end of the year and we hire Lincoln Riley. But
wow.
Yeah. Oh man, gimme. Man, realistically, what'll happen, I think, is the Giants, like we talked about, I think everything we said circles back into itself really well. I think it's the same situation. I think they're way too forgiving. And I think his leash is short, but it's just long enough. I think there will be an excuse of a rebuild. And I think that excuse will last as long as they'll let it last. And I think he can have he has another good 2 years of losing seasons before he gets fired.
Wow.
In my God honest opinion. I believe that he won't get fired this year. And I think he should. I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to give up on the guy. I like him, but I think he needs to be gone. I think he'll get another year after this one. And then even if we do bad after that year, I think he'll get another one. Because simply that he's in the perfect situation of a rebuild. And, oh, man, it's not your fault. Yeah, I mean, your play calls suck, but, like, look at your roster. It's not your fault, man. Like, just give up play calling. Okay, so maybe he'll do that next year. Right, we suck again. Shurmur, take play calling back. Give it one more year. We're going to be good this year. We have a better roster. Look at the roster. You get one more shot. Okay, he'll get that next shot. Then he'll get fired. But I guarantee you, my opinion, I give it 2 more years easily. Easily.
That's a long leash, man.
It varied, but look at the Giants. Look what we do. We gave Eli Manning 14.
Yeah.
We gave him a lot of contracts. We gave him the most amount of money ever for any NFL player, which is repulsive. And
Eli Manning's been here 16 years.
16. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm saying 14. 16 long years.
Yeah.
And
he's still here, and he's got a couple of days to lift his no trade clause if he wants to leave.
I would do it, but he won't. He won't. No way in hell. But if I was him, if he means what he says about being a competitor, he would have done that from the day he got benched.
Why is he standing around watching this?
Yeah, he would have done it from the day he got benched. You think he wants to be a dad on the sidelines? Like, no. I know Eli. He's a fighter. I mean, I'm sorry, he's not good. But, there's teams that would throw up. I mean, what do you think? What do you think his market is? Maybe a 3? I don't know.
No, I don't even think it's that high.
It
all depends.
Maybe? I don't think it is.
I mean, right now you've got a week to go for the trading deadline, so he would have to do it before then. And I don't know which team would come in to the Giants and say, "We want him." I mean,
I feel like Elway would.
Maybe, but they're not on the verge of winning.
No, but I feel like Elway is just that dude. Like, I feel like, oh shit, Eli Manning. Okay. Or like, what's another team that would do it? Maybe the Bears. I heard the Bears called the Giants.
That's something I was gonna write up.
Yeah, the Bears called the Giants reportedly about to see if he was available or if he lifted the clause. I read that on several places. Don't quote me. I don't know the validity, but there was a lot of
it's
backup
a rumor.
information.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that the Bears called and asked about Eli.
Because Mitchell Trubisky, as I said from day one, is not the guy.
I'm sad about that, man. That's a quarterback I'm eating crow on. I will admit it's everywhere. It's all online. I did not like Deshaun Watson at all. And I love Trubisky, so I'll eat it.
The difference between Deshaun Watson and Trubisky is enormous, talent-wise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's massive.
And understanding of the game, Watson is almost a genius when it comes to football.
He really is, and he loves football, and he's a fighter, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
We all underestimated him. Don't feel bad.
Oh, yeah. I like I said, I mean, I take a lot of pride in my quarterback work. Like, I think I've always been pretty good about it. I think it speaks for itself there, and that's one that
there's a couple of guys I underestimated. Lamar Jackson. I said he'd have to go to the right situation, and apparently he's in the right situation. He's making it the right situation. Bulking up his body, and he has an NFL body now, and he's using his legs when he needs to, right? Not as a major weapon. He's throwing the football. Another guy is Teddy Bridgewater, who's playing very well.
I like Teddy. I didn't think he'd do what he's doing though. I mean, 6-0. Wow.
He's got a good coach. And Drew Brees is kind of a lot of people are fading on Drew Brees now.
I'm not. Shit, give me Drew Brees.
Yeah, but still, I mean, look at his stats the last year or so. He's kind of like it's not Breeze-ish like it used to be.
He's tailing off. Of course, he's tailing off.
And Bridgewater is gunning it. So I'm not saying that when Breeze gets healthy, he's not going to come back in, but they could take their time now, rushing him back.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll do. That's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stories around the league with quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Apparently, and rightfully so, the Buccaneers and the Titans are going to be one of the most active teams at quarterback for the draft, and then obviously the Dolphins, the Tankfins.
And maybe even the Redskins.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that. I mean, I did not like Dwayne Haskins. And there's not enough there yet to be like, oh my God, I was right. And I'm not even trying to say it that way. But I'm telling you, I said it before. He is not the guy. He is not the guy. And please, Redskins, keep him. Keep him.
I know.
Keep him. But he's not good.
Yeah.
Like he's not good. And when I saw him truck up 3 picks against the Giants and 2 of them to old Jackrabbit back there, I was like, look, I'm not gonna say you're a bust after 1 game, but you're exactly what I thought you were. And that's all I thought the whole game. I was like, you ain't shit.
I felt he was a little overrated coming out of college.
I couldn't stand the dude, man. And then he
Yeah.
started with the whole brand stuff. The minute
Oh,
he
boy.
got out, I was like, dude, I wish you would bust on the field.
Yeah.
And it's hard to. It's like it's the opposite. You got Lamar Jackson, you got Dwayne Haskins, and it's like one I want to root for, one I can't wait to watch fail, and that's just the reality.
And
So.
your Baker Mayfield
Mm.
opinion is still the same. You're still high on him.
I mean, here I think, and I'm gonna put it to you this way, and I'm not even making excuses for him, but I don't blame him for what's going on right now because, and this is why. Last year he had really bad personnel, and he broke the rookie NFL passing touchdown.
Yes.
This year he got a new coach, and he got the best personnel in the league, and he's struggling. So I think it's a very clear case, in my opinion. I'm not even trying to protect myself, that it's not his fault. Now, do I think he's playing great? No, but players don't get worse when they get better personnel. So, in my opinion, I don't blame him. I blame the scheme. I blame the coaching change. And I don't think it's his fault. Now, I don't know. I might be wrong. You know, people are saying the further he gets from Lincoln Riley, the worse he gets.
Right.
Maybe. And I would love to have Lincoln Riley. God, please, give me Lincoln Riley. But he's not going to leave.
No, I don't see him going into the pros.
No. Hell no. But I don't think it's his fault. And I still love Baker Mayfield. I mean, I think Gardner Minshew is Baker Mayfield, everything Baker Mayfield wants to be. But I think that he is a great player. I think he's a competitor. I just think that he knows that they're struggling so bad and he's struggling so bad that he's not even acting himself. And I think he plays 10 times worse when he's not being the cocky Baker Mayfield. Like, I think the mentality with him is everything on the field. And he doesn't have it. Like, even Nick Bosa said it. He was like, I was lined up across him, and I was like, Baker, and he was just looking at me, not answering. Like, that ain't Baker Mayfield. And so I don't think it's his fault. That's just me.
Right. And Sam Darnold
Bust.
another
Yes.
another clunker last night against the
Yes.
Patriots.
Yes, give me that content. I mean, just inject that content into my veins. I love it.
I
love it. I don't like Sam Darnold. I really can't stand the dude.
I've been getting texts all day from my son is actually a Jets fan, and he's texting me saying, it's Adam Gase. He's the problem.
No.
And I'm like, I don't know. It looks like they have a lot of problems.
I've always been a very controversial person. I mean, you know that. I'm literally a walking contradiction on Twitter. But with quarterbacks, I make my opinion, I stand to it, and if I'm wrong, I admit to it. Sam Darnold is overrated as overrated could be, and he has been since USC. And he's not good. And neither is Dwayne Haskins. Like, these guys get hyped up based off the school they go to. Put me back in the draft, and put Daniel Jones. Say there's only 3 quarterbacks in the draft for whatever reason. There's Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Dwayne Haskins. I'm taking Daniel Jones 20 times out of 20 times, and I'm not looking back. Not even seeing them on the field. I'm taking Daniel Jones 20 times out of 20 times, and I am not regretting it, not listening, not looking back. That's based off of college stuff.
What about Josh Allen?
Josh Allen's another one that I think he does enough. You know what I mean? I think that he's an awkward player.
Okay.
But I liked him. I liked him coming in. I think that he's not going to be a guy that gets a long-term extension. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be their answer for a long time. But he has a good team around him, and he's riding that wave right now. So you can't really hate on him and say he's a bad player. I just don't think he's the type of guy that's going to lead them deep into the playoffs and, be consistent. But
right.
I would take him over Darnold too. I would take him over Haskins too. I'm serious.
Now, here's a big question. We're talking quarterbacks now. Would you pay Dak Prescott the kind of money he's asking for?
Hell no. No. And I'm going to give that to you unbiased. I genuinely really like Dak Prescott. Like, if I'm looking at it like I'm not an NFL fan, I like Dak Prescott. I love his fight. I love his drive. I love his personality. And I really like the way he plays. But if there's anything that you can't get away from, the one biggest thing is, do you crack under pressure? And to me, when he plays hard teams, he always cracks. And that's not a $40 million quarterback. You can't teach everything. It's not Madden. You can't go in there and change their traits. But I don't think that he's the guy that's going to bring him a Super Bowl. No way.
Now,
No way.
Here's my next question for you. What's happened to Carson Wentz?
You know, I think I remember me and you talked about him, and we were like, I don't remember exactly, but we said, how do we think he'll come back? And I told you, being from where I come from and my background, he's got the same mentalities as me. I really like him as a person, and I really like his play style. But the human body is the human body, and he's got so deteriorated at his age already that you're gonna stop playing, just like Baker Mayfield, like I said, with the mentality. Once you stop playing or acting out of your original character, you're never going to be the same.
Right.
And I think what we're seeing with Carson Wentz is what he's going to be now. And that's not even his fault. It's just when you have torn your ACL, I mean, how many injuries? He broke his ribs. He tore his ACL or something like that.
He's all banged up, yeah.
And he's what, 24? It's like, okay, would you still dive in? Would you still step up in the pocket the same way you did when you were a rookie? I wouldn't.
Probably not.
I wouldn't. Would you still take the same runs and scrambles, worried about running on that ACL wrong and popping it again?
And I don't think they want him to. That's the other thing.
Exactly. So he's limiting himself, and they're limiting him too, and then that's the result you get.
And that's why the Eagles are 3-4. When I predicted they would win this division going away. And
I had the Redskins. I don't know, man. I got to look back. I mean, the episodes we made were so good going into the
everything
the
looks good.
I know
going into the season. You know that.
In the worst ways. You know what I mean? Like, you predicted, and I'll always give you props for it. I called you crazy. When you talked about the Odell, how he's going to be traded, Odell's going to be traded, I was like, you're freaking nuts. I was like, no. And then, like, I think it was the next day he got traded. But we both have our little odd points. Mine was Daniel Jones, and you were like, what? Like, what do you say? So it's like, I think our episodes were so perfect, and now we're just back in the same point we were when I first talked to you at the end of last year. We're both like, damn, here we are again. Like, let's talk about college prospects. Like,
I know.
We're used to it. It doesn't even hurt anymore. Like, I'm smiling saying that because it's like, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, okay.
That's why I like to talk general football now, just the NFL stuff.
Right.
And
it must be nice, to be a part of a winning team. It must be fun. Yeah. I couldn't tell you I know what it feels like.
Like in the AFC, it's, the Patriots. You're going to have to go through New England if you want to get to the Super Bowl, and good luck to anyone trying to do that. But in the NFC, I think it's going to be pretty competitive. Who do you like in the NFC?
I mean, the NFC as a whole is kind of right now. I mean, it's not great. You know what I mean? I think that as a whole, I know you agree, the NFC versus the AFC is better.
Well, I don't know if the AFC is better. They have the best team. I don't think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are very beatable because they're so Mahomes dependent.
Yeah.
And now that he's hurt, if he doesn't come back 100%, he can't. Like, he wasn't really 100% before he got hurt. He had a bad ankle. And if he's not 100% afterwards, they could end up going on the road in the playoffs if they get to the playoffs. We'll see.
But you're saying, who do I like for the NFC for, like, the Super Bowl?
Yeah, like let's say the top 6 teams you see in the playoffs.
I mean, definitely Packers, definitely Saints.
Yes.
Definitely Rams, definitely 49ers.
Yes.
I can see the Seahawks. I mean, I see 3 teams from the NFC West making it in there. Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks.
Okay.
I see them all sneaking. I see the Saints, obviously. I see the Packers. And I'd say that's I mean, obviously, no, I'd say that's my main teams there.
Vikings could make a run.
They could, and I think, Kirk Cousins, I give him a whole lot of respect because not a lot of players can take shit from the media and then actually, like, turn it around. And I think he's always been a quarterback I like. I never really understood the hate on him. But
I like Kirk Cousins as long as he doesn't lose the game for them.
Yeah.
If he plays an error-free game, they can win. That's the thing.
I just don't think he's a playoff. They're a playoff team, but
no, he's not a playoff quarterback. But I think the rest of the team's very good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. I guess I was ignorant when I said I guess the AFC isn't a better division as a whole, but I mean, in a nutshell, to me, it almost is, man. I don't know. That's a toss-up. You know what I mean? Because, right now you have the 49ers, but, like, okay, like, now the 49ers are good. Like, okay, fine. Like, we can say that. You know, the Broncos suck now.
Right.
The Chiefs, the Chargers are not a bad team. I don't know what their problem
They
is.
just don't win.
The Colts are good. The Texans are really good. The Ravens are great. The Patriots, obviously. The Bills are really good. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know which one you'd take as the better division. I mean, I guess you'd say the NFC. I guess I'm wrong, but
Right.
not by much.
Now, what about the NFC East?
The best team in the NFC East?
Who's going to win it?
Cowboys.
So the Cowboys are going to hold on and win because Philadelphia can't get their act together.
Right. I mean, it won't be the Giants. It won't be the
Oh,
Redskins.
no.
So
They're already out.
you toss up, you look at the Cowboys and the Eagles, and I don't see the Eagles overtaking the Cowboys. I think it'll be an ugly division win record, like a 8-8 type nasty stuff. But
Right.
I don't see, either team running away with it. I'm not saying that, but I can't see it not being the Cowboys. You know what I mean? They're in a perfect situation right now, and they know it.
Do you think the Cleveland Browns will make a playoff run?
No. No, I don't. And I think that locker room already imploded. And I think they're doing exactly what most of us said would happen, and that's if they lose, they would destroy themselves. And I think they already did it. I think they're too deep.
Beckham got fined by the league again for a uniform violation.
And then he posted it on social media with information that should not be shared on public grounds. Links to disputes and stuff like that.
See, now people say that he's a distraction. That's a distraction. What doesn't people understand?
Huge.
That's a distraction. But the Giants are no better with him, no worse without him. So why even have him? Like I said, if you have guys on your team, you're not winning, and they're making a lot of money, and they're not really, moving the needle for you, you trade them. That's what you do. And I think, I don't know if they have any of those guys left that anybody would really want, but we'll see. We'll find out this week.
Slowly but surely, man. Slowly but surely. But they mess around and trade Barkley, I'm gonna throw a conniption.
No. Let me say something about Barkley. And it hit me last week or 2 weeks ago. I said, okay, this guy is going to want a lot of money in 3 years, maybe sooner. And he looked very vulnerable. In the same game that he went out with his ankle, he got shaken up. He got hit in the head, and he came off the field. Now, he didn't get checked for a concussion, but he got shaken up, and then he hurt his ankle. I'm like, okay. And then I think about Todd Gurley, how the Rams gave him all that money, and now he's really not relevant anymore. So do you give your running, and the same thing with Zeke Elliott? Why are you giving him all that money when you see teams are winning with committee running backs? Running back by committee is the big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I won't fight you on that at all. You know what I mean? But I agree. I think with running back, it's one of those positions that I do believe this, and I stand by it. I believe we have the best running back in the NFL, and I believe that with everything inside of me. And I think that there's only 2 or 3 running backs in the NFL that are worth the money, that can be by themselves, be a bell cow, and be that for a long period of time. But I do see what you're saying, how the league's kind of transitioning to committee and why it's valuable and why it works. I mean, Dalvin Cook and Madison, and the list goes on and on. But I feel like we got one in Barkley, and I don't feel the need to lose him and be in that situation where, we go to a committee. I'd rather have Barkley personally, but like I said, there's not very many guys in the league that do that. I mean, Zeke's one of them. Barkley's the other. And honestly, maybe Dalvin Cook, but they're running a committee. So I don't know, but I think that there's only 2 or 3, like I said, in the league that can hold it on their own, and I think he's one of them. I think he's one of the special ones.
Christian McCaffrey, you forgot about.
Christian McCaffrey is an absolute. You're right.
He's a machine. He's not even a player. He's like a robo. He's like a Terminator or something. Yeah.
That dude is gushing blood from somewhere after every game, and he's literally a little machine. Like he never gets tired. He plays 99% of their snaps. No shit.
Yeah,
Special teams, offense.
Yep.
And he never ever gets hurt. and he never, ever gets drained. Like, you don't – he's another one. Like, yeah, you're right. I left him out. I don't know how I did that. You don't need another guy. Like,
he does
you
it all.
don't want him off the field. You don't want him off the field because it's like, I'm 1,000% worse when I don't have you on the field. So I'm not taking you off.
You want to talk about a guy who has passion. That's a guy who has passion. Alvin Kamara is a guy that has passion.
He is, and he's on my fantasy team, and he's hurting me right now.
Right.
So
well, he's got to get healthy. But the thing is, those guys that will do anything you ask them to do.
Yeah.
And Barkley is like that too, but they're not asking him to do a whole lot. So that's coaching again. I would run Barkley.
Coaching,
this is what you do when you have a guy like that. You give him the football. You have a guy like Evan Ingram. You give him the football. They don't.
I don't know. Evan's a toss-up. I'm curious. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I mean, do you give him a contract? I love him as a player, but man, the injuries.
I give him this 5th-year option. That's where I start with him.
I'd give him the 5th year, but I wonder. I don't know. I feel like he's such a damn good player, but geez, man, I feel like he's always hurt.
Yeah, he is always hurt. And, they really still haven't found a role for him. They fit him in here, they fit him in there. He can't really block. We saw what happened the other day. Chandler Jones just blew right past him.
Oh, yeah.
He can't block. Why are you making him block for? And why are you making him pass block? That's the thing.
Run block, okay. Yeah, he's not bad once they're out in space.
Yeah.
I mean, he can get in front of guys and hold them for a second. You know what I mean? But pass blocking, he's horrific.
Come on,
real
man.
bad.
Come on, that's
Real
ridiculous. All right, so that's all I got for today, Rob. You have anything else you want to talk about?
No, man. I think we covered a lot. I mean, we planned to go into this 30 minutes, and we doubled that. So
right.
I think we covered it all.
We got an hour out of it. So thanks for coming on, and we'll have you back on shortly. Hopefully the Giants can turn things around.
Let's hope for the best.
I'd like to see them win a few games. I really don't care about when they draft because, to tell you the truth, if you know what you're doing, you can draft anywhere in the draft and get the guys you want.
Exactly. I'll never be a tank guy.
Yeah, you don't have to be in the top of the order to get players that are going to help you. As Ozzie Newsome used to say, there's always plenty of players.
Unless we're talking like, you're in a fight between the first and second pick and you win the last game and get the second, then okay, then you can be mad. Other than that,
it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I remember, in the NFL draft in 1979, the Giants picked 7th. They got Phil Simms, and you know who the 8th pick was? Otis Anderson.
Yep.
Who ended up with the Giants anyway.
Yep.
So, hey, you never know. All right, man. Well, like I said, thanks for coming on, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Of course. Thanks for having me, as always.
Okay, take care now.
All right, man. You too.
Bye.